Imagine standing in the middle of a landscape so vast, so empty, so completely devoid of the ordinary markers of human life, that the silence itself feels like a physical presence. No roads, no buildings, no sound except the wind. In every direction, the horizon stretches away from you, in an unbroken line. Rock and sand and sky, and the sun overhead is not the comfortable sun of parks and beaches. It is something more powerful, more indifferent, more absolute. This is the desert. And for the traveler who approaches it with the right knowledge, the right preparation, and the right respect, it is one of the most extraordinary environments on Earth. Today, we are going to take you inside the world's most extreme deserts, what they demand, what they offer, and how to survive and explore them safely. Let's begin with the most fundamental thing, understanding what makes a desert extreme, and what that means for the human body. A desert, by definition, is any region that receives less than 10 inches of precipitation per year. But the world's most extreme deserts go far beyond that definition. They are places where the combination of heat, cold, aridity, altitude, and remoteness creates conditions that the human body is genuinely not designed to handle without assistance. The Sahara, the largest hot desert in the world, can reach surface temperatures of over 80 degrees Celsius in summer. The Atacama in Chile, the driest non-polar desert on Earth, has areas that have not received measurable rainfall in recorded history. The Gobi in Mongolia and China experiences temperature swings of over 50 degrees Celsius between summer and winter. And the Antarctic desert, the largest desert of any kind on Earth, combines extreme cold with extreme dryness and winds of extraordinary power. What all of these environments have in common is the speed with which they can become dangerous. In a hot desert, the human body loses water at a rate that most people dramatically underestimate. At moderate activity and temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius, a person can lose over a liter of water per hour through sweat alone. Without replacement, dehydration begins within hours. And the insidious thing about severe dehydration is that by the time you feel desperately thirsty, you are already significantly impaired, your judgment affected, your physical performance reduced, your decision-making compromised in exactly the moment when good decisions matter most. The single most important principle of desert survival and exploration is water. Everything else, navigation, shelter, food, equipment, is secondary to water. In a desert environment, you must carry more water than you think you need. You must know where water sources are before you enter the desert. You must have a plan for what happens if your primary water supply fails. And you must understand the signs of dehydration, dark urine, headache, dizziness, confusion, and respond to them before they become serious. Now let's talk about heat, because heat management is the second critical survival skill in hot desert environments. The human body is extraordinarily good at managing heat, but only within limits, and only with assistance. The primary mechanism is sweating. The evaporation of water from the skin surface carries heat away from the body with extraordinary efficiency. But in a hot desert, this mechanism has two significant vulnerabilities. First, it depletes your water supply rapidly. Second, in conditions of high humidity, which occur in some desert regions, particularly in coastal deserts, the evaporation of sweat is much less efficient, meaning the body struggles to cool itself even as it loses water. Timing is everything in desert travel. The hours between 10 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon are the most dangerous, when the sun is highest, the ground is hottest, and the air temperature is at its peak. Experienced desert travelers and explorers move in the early morning and the late afternoon and evening, covering ground during the hours of lower temperature and resting in shade during the dangerous midday hours. This pattern, which mirrors the behavior of most desert animals, dramatically reduces water consumption, reduces heat stress, and makes the desert a significantly more manageable environment. Clothing in the desert is counterintuitive to most people. The instinct in extreme heat is to wear as little as possible, but experienced desert travelers know that covering the body with loose, lightweight, light-colored clothing is far more effective at managing heat than exposing the skin. Loose clothing allows air circulation while blocking direct solar radiation. Light colors reflect rather than absorb heat. Long sleeves and long trousers protect the skin from sunburn, which, beyond its immediate pain, impairs the body's ability to cool itself. And a head covering, whether a wide-brimmed hat or a traditional desert headscarf, is absolutely essential. The head and neck are major sites of heat gain and heat loss, and protecting them is one of the most effective single actions you can take to manage your body temperature in extreme heat. Navigation in the desert presents unique challenges. In many desert environments, particularly in the Great Sand Seas of the Sahara and the Arabian Desert, The landscape offers almost no fixed reference points. Sand dunes shift with the wind. Rock formations look similar across vast areas. And without navigation skills and tools, becoming lost is genuinely easy and potentially fatal. A GPS device is essential, but it requires batteries, which can fail in extreme heat. And it should always be backed up with a map and compass, and the knowledge to use them. Sand navigation has its own specific techniques. Learning to read the dunes, understanding how prevailing winds shape them, which faces are harder and which are softer, is a skill that desert travelers develop over time. In rocky desert environments, reading the land, identifying landmarks, understanding drainage patterns, knowing how the terrain channels wind and water, is equally important. And at night, which is when many experienced desert travelers prefer to move, taking advantage of cooler temperatures and the extraordinary navigational resource of a clear, unpolluted desert sky, the stars provide a navigation system of extraordinary reliability and beauty. Let's talk now about some of the world's most extraordinary desert environments, the ones that draw adventurers and explorers from every corner of the earth. The Sahara Desert covers approximately 9.5 million square kilometers across northern Africa, making it roughly the size of the United States, and it contains within it a variety of landscape that most people never associate with the word desert. Yes, there are the great sand seas, the ergs, where dunes of extraordinary scale and beauty roll in waves across the landscape, but the Sahara also contains vast plateaus of bare rock. The Hamada, worn smooth by millions of years of wind erosion into surfaces of extraordinary complexity and beauty. Ancient mountain ranges, the Hagar in Algeria, the Tibesti in Chad, rise from the desert floor to heights of over 3,000 meters, their peaks sometimes dusted with snow. And scattered across the desert are oases, places where underground water reaches the surface, that have supported human life for thousands of years. Their palm groves and gardens of vivid green against the surrounding ochre and red of the desert. Traveling in the Sahara requires a level of preparation and logistical planning that goes beyond almost any other environment on Earth. Water must be carried in quantities that most travelers find surprising, a minimum of 5 to 7 liters per person per day in summer conditions. Navigation must be precise and redundant. And local knowledge, the knowledge of the desert communities that have lived in and with the Sahara for thousands of years, is invaluable. The Tuareg, the nomadic people of the Central Sahara, have developed over centuries a knowledge of this landscape that is specific, practical, and earned through generations of life in one of the most demanding environments on Earth. Traveling with Tuareg guides is not just a safety measure, it is an encounter with one of the most extraordinary human cultures in the world. From the Sahara, let's travel to what is, in some ways, its opposite, the Atacama Desert of Chile and Peru. Where the Sahara is vast and hot and sandy, the Atacama is narrow and cold at altitude and almost entirely devoid of sand. The Atacama sits on a high plateau, between the Andes and the coastal mountains, at elevations between 2,000 and 5,000 meters, and it is the driest non-polar desert on Earth. Some areas of the Atacama have no recorded rainfall in the history of human observation. The landscape is extraordinary and completely alien, salt flats of blinding white, volcanic craters of vivid color, geysers erupting at dawn in the cold morning air, flamingos standing in lakes of extraordinary red and pink color, produced by the algae that thrive in the highly saline water. The challenges of the Atacama are different from those of the Sahara. The altitude adds a layer of physiological stress that compounds the effects of aridity. The temperature swings are extreme, warm by day, bitterly cold by night, and the ultraviolet radiation at this altitude, with the thin atmosphere providing less protection than at sea level, is intense enough to cause serious sunburn in a very short time, even on cloudy days. Now let's travel to the Gobi, the Great Desert of Mongolia and northern China. The Gobi is a cold desert, classified as such because its extreme temperatures in winter, which can drop below -40 degrees Celsius, are as much a survival challenge as the summer heat. The Gobi covers approximately 1.5 million square kilometers across southern Mongolia and northern China, and it is one of the most geologically extraordinary landscapes on Earth. The Flaming Cliffs, a region of dramatic red sandstone formations, where some of the most important dinosaur fossil discoveries in history were made, glow in the late afternoon light with a color so vivid it seems almost unreal. The Singing Dunes, enormous sand dunes that produce a deep, resonant humming sound when the wind blows across them, are one of the most extraordinary auditory experiences available in any natural environment. And the vast, open steppe that surrounds the desert proper, where nomadic herders have lived with their animals for thousands of years, adds a human dimension to the Gobi that is unlike almost anything else in the natural world. Survival in the Gobi requires preparation for extremes in both directions. The brutal summer heat and the equally brutal winter cold. Shelter is critical. The Mongolian gur, the traditional felt tent of the nomadic herders, is one of the most perfectly adapted structures ever designed for a specific environment, capable of maintaining a livable temperature in conditions that would be lethal without shelter. And water, as in all deserts, is the primary concern. The Gobi's water sources are sparse, widely spaced, and require precise navigation to find. And finally, let's talk about the desert that most people never think of as a desert at all, Antarctica. The Antarctic is technically the largest desert on Earth, receiving less precipitation than the Sahara across most of its interior, and it presents survival challenges of extraordinary severity. Temperatures in the interior can drop below -80 degrees Celsius. Winds can exceed 200 kilometers per hour. The katabatic winds, cold, dense air flowing down from the polar plateau, are among the most powerful and most sudden weather phenomena on Earth. And the isolation, hundreds of kilometers from any human settlement, means that rescue, if needed, may be days or weeks away. Traveling in Antarctica requires equipment and training of the highest standard. Layering for extreme cold, with base layers, insulating layers, and windproof outer layers capable of functioning at temperatures far below anything encountered in the temperate world, is essential. Navigation in a landscape where everything is white and featureless and where compass behavior is affected by proximity to the magnetic pole requires specific skills and instruments. And the psychological demands of the environment, the extreme isolation, the months of continuous darkness in winter or continuous light in summer, the physical and mental challenge of functioning in conditions this extreme, make Antarctica one of the most demanding and most extraordinary travel environments on Earth. Every desert in the world, from the burning sands of the Sahara to the frozen plateau of Antarctica, shares one quality. It is honest. It does not pretend to be comfortable, or forgiving or easy. It simply is what it is, vast, indifferent, demanding, and extraordinary. And the traveler who approaches it with the knowledge and the preparation, and the respect it requires will find, in that honesty, something deeply valuable. A clarity, a sense of proportion, a reminder that the world is larger, and more powerful and more astonishing than the ordinary details of daily life allow us to see. The desert strips everything away, and what remains, when everything is stripped away, is something very simple and very real. The sky, the ground, the horizon, and you, exactly as you are, without pretension or distraction, standing in one of the most extraordinary environments on Earth.